I was sitting on holiday somewhere in 2007 watching TV, and I saw the start of this financial disaster in Northern Rock, okay? The queues of people rushing to get their money back. And I have to say, I remember turning to my wife and saying to them, look, this is really serious, this is really bad news. Can you imagine if this bank went bust, then the next queues will be forming outside Barclays, Lloyds, etc., etc. This is just a disaster. To which she said, where are we going for lunch? But she didn't quite grasp it. But I think good job there. You moved in and you stopped it. You nipped it in the bud. What was your thoughts at the time then, or was it in the hands of Alistair Darling?
Well, it was Alistair Darling, but my thought was to quickly make sure that the depositors at Northern Rock could be sure the savings were safe. And then, of course, we had to extend that because other institutions got into difficulty. And our duty was to make sure that no saver, no depositor was actually going to feel that the money was going to be completely lost. And of course, nobody has lost the money as a result of that at all.
No,
but I felt at the beginning that the big banks should have stepped in to help Northern Rock, that it would have been better if they had come to the support of Northern Rock. That's what happens in some other situations in some other countries.
How could they come in? As we know, a few months later, the big banks themselves were skint also. They were
yeah, but one of the reasons is that people had lost confidence because of what had happened to Northern Rock. In the end, we had to nationalise it and take it over.
So answer this simple question then. If I've understood you correctly, you've gone and thrown a lot of our money, government's money, public money, into the banks to get them out of trouble. Now, what's the difference between me, irresponsible businessman, I'm decided I'm going to make a load of computer screens or a load of television sets and, oh, it all went wrong. Yeah. Sorry, it went wrong. So, look, excuse me, Prime Minister, can you bail me out? What's the difference?
It's because if we hadn't put money into them then, they would have collapsed.
Gone bust.
And we took the action to keep the banks in business. We have got shares in these banks now, which at some point we'll sell on. We don't want to be permanent.
I was going to ask you about
we don't want to be permanent investors in banks.
No.
We're looking for other people who will come in and buy these shares. But by keeping the banking system going, we've crossed the first hurdle. But the second hurdle is that banks have got to loan money to their customers.
I'm a simple man from Hackney, as you know. You see,
you're not. You're a very smart man.
So let me put this to you, right? You've given HBOS, Lloyds, RBS a load of money to stop them going bust. So effectively, it's replacing money that they lost irresponsibly. I'm going to say they lost irresponsibly. Right? But on the other hand, you're asking them to now go out and lend money again to support small businesses. Where are they going to get that money from?
Well, they've been recapitalised, so they've got money. They're stronger. They've got the resources now. If they've written off all the bad assets, and that's happened, then they're in a position to start lending again. They're actually a lot stronger than they were a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but as you said, to use your own words, Gordon, you said, you know, they've gone from one extreme to the other now. Now, slap on the hand, naughty boys, you were irresponsible. We, the government, have stepped in and bailed you out of trouble. But we now want you to go and support small businesses. Don't you think it's your duty to actually, now you're a shareholder in one of these banks, to actually lay down some guidelines to try and stop irresponsible lending, but to encourage responsible lending?
They've got to go back to a situation where they were lending in 2007 to small businesses and to homeowners. Secondly, of course, we've said that you've got to operate responsible practices, and we're going to bring in a banking code with them to do so. But thirdly, we've got to persuade the banks that actually it is in their interests, because that's the only purpose of a bank, isn't it? Exactly, and they've got to get back to what they were doing, which is being a bank. And in that way, we'll get the economy moving forward again. But, you know, I feel sorry for small business at the moment going to a bank and they've got a good project, or they've got a lending that they've had for 2 years and they want to extend it for 3 or 4 years. And not getting the right answers. And we've got to be on the side of the small business.
So in a nutshell, what you're saying to me is, you, Sir Alan, tough luck. If you mess it up in your business, you're a big boy, you get on with it. But you save the banks mainly because of the people's savings in the banks.
Well, luckily,
you had to protect the individual's money.
Exactly, but luckily enough for you, you've actually made very few mistakes. You've done pretty well.
Well, I wouldn't be as irresponsible as
these banks. If you made your mistakes, then I would say, you know, that's your bad luck.
Yeah.
If the banks fail, then the public and millions of people in the public are affected.
Yeah.
And so we had to act. But the next stage is to make sure the banks do the job they're supposed to do.
You, we, the country are owners, part owners of banks at the moment, yeah? Now, this is not your business, is it? This is not government's business.
No, we want to be out of this as quickly as possible.
So that everybody understands, you've lent them the money. Are they going to pay you interest, or are you hoping to make some money when you finally sell the shares that we or the government own in those banks?
Yes, it's our money, but we're going to get it back. We've put the money in so that we could save the banks, but we think the banks will go up in value and we'll get a higher amount of money back.
Shrewd when it comes to flogging off certain things, because I remember those mobile phone frequencies you sold. You made quite a few quid there.
We got about 20 billion from that.
Yeah, I remember. Yes, that was very good price in there. You should have been in my business in those days. I thought I might hire you.
The generosity of the people who bought it.
That was quite a shrewd move, and they said these politicians don't know what they're doing.
But we will get more back.